Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the conversation on NHX with Colonel Umesh Gogte. In the first part of the conversation, we spoke about two different, disparate individuals. Disparate in the sense as different as they can be, not desperate, disparate.
Yes.
Just to correct the word. One, highly decorated, and of course, the chief of the Indian Army then, General Sam Manekshaw. The second, a very young officer who sacrificed his life in the same war but on a different sector. Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal.
Yeah.
But Colonel, sometimes it is not just your own army men. And I was told there's a very interesting case where an officer actually defected to the Indian Army.
Yeah.
We rarely hear of this,
Yes.
You possibly would hear that in the North Korea where one soldier jumps over and goes other side. We saw during the Berlin War, a lot of soldiers trying to escape from East Germany into thing. Then of course Russia and the US have their own trading of spice that goes on. But what was this story all about?
Yeah. It's a very unique story regarding in this connection, which it's now Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad Ali Zahir, shortly call him as Qazi. Lieutenant Colonel Qazi Sajjad Ali Zahir is the full name. What had happened is he was a lieutenant then in 71, and he was posted to the West Pakistan, though he was born and selected for the Pakistan Army from the East Pakistan side.
What is now Bangladesh?
No, what is now Bangladesh. But why the very interesting example which you have taken, very interesting in the sense what? He is the recipient of one of the fourth highest gallantry award in Bangladesh, what they call as Bir Pratik.
In Bangladesh?
In Bangladesh.
Given by?
Given by Bangladesh after the Bangladesh
So here
was
is
formed.
a Pakistani army officer.
Yes.
Who's been given the fourth highest award by the Bangladesh government.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Call as Bir Pratik, something like Sena medal given by, say, Indian Army.
Now, why was he given?
Why was it given? Yeah. One more thing, connected with that he was also a recipient of the highest civilian award in Bangladesh, called as Bangladesh Freedom Award. That was given after 50 years of Bangladesh liberation. So in that celebration. Similarly, in a friendly country like India, India honored him with Padma Shri in 21.
So here is a gentleman who gets awards from Bangladesh.
Yes.
Not one, but two.
Yes.
And then India gives him one of the Padma awards, which is the
Yes,
Padma Shri.
Padma Shri. And one more thing, there's a death warrant against him in Pakistan.
Even now.
Even now. It's pending against him. So therefore, I said that this is a very unique example where the same person is viewed differently in three different countries, three warring nations in 71. So why it happened is a very pertinent question. But before I actually come to his valor, how it built is very, very important for the viewers to know. Some of you may be knowing that there was still now, it's considered to be the worst cyclone in the world. That cyclone's name was Bhola. That was way back in November 70, which started building in Bay of Bengal. And initially it was thought that on 8th of November, it was thought that it will not hit, it will die down. But unfortunately, on 12th of November, it hit the western coastal line of Bangladesh, and till date, it is considered as one of the worst kind of a cyclone. That cyclone hit the coastal belt, and almost it is considered as 5 lakh people perished in that. Yeah. So the civilian government, that was a time when it was a united Pakistan, West Pakistan and East Pakistan, and General Yahya Khan was the president So instead of giving us relief measure, there was celebration on the side of Yahya Khan. He said that this is the opportunity. Already 5 lakh people are killed. You slaughter another 30 lakhs and will surely win the elections. Saddest. I mean, see, what is an extent of bargain? And the nature killed 5 lakh and he wants to kill 6 times more in a genocide. This was done basically because Mujibur Rahman was becoming very, very popular. His Awami League party was becoming very popular. So what he thought that if we crush them, then we can win the elections hands down. Connecting this on the 25th of March 71, means much before the war started later in December. Generally what people know that only it was during the partition largest, that is about 10 lakh Hindus were killed. But in this genocide, the figure is double or triple than that.
And nobody knows about this.
We just pushed it under the rug. So that's the saddest part. So coming back to the Lieutenant Colonel Qazi, that time he was a second lieutenant. He was going through, he was knowing this and being on the western side. He was knowing that the Pakistan army have given orders to carry out genocide in East Pakistan. And he himself being from East Pakistan, he felt that जिन्ना का पाकिस्तान पूर्व के लोगों को कब्रिस्तान बनाना चाहता है.
जिन्ना के पाकिस्तान पूर्व के लोगों को कब्रिस्तान बनाना चाहता है.
So that was very disturbing him continuously. So he decided to go to India.
How did he manage?
So they say that in one of his interviews, he has said that he was selected in the army because he was very strong in his memory. He had memorized the entire what you call that element chemistry ka table hota hai na,
okay.
Atomic table. So he had memorized. So one of the question was that, and he rattled out. So he said, "Stop! You are selected," like that. So because of his very strong memory, what had happened is he had decided to cross over from. He was posted to Sialkot in Pakistan, and Shakargarh was a area. Shakargarh Bulge, what we know, that is a area which is bulging into India. So part of Pakistan, West Pakistan, that is a Punjab, which is bulging into India, called as Shakargarh. So he had decided to go through that sector and cross over to India, and he managed that. That time, he was deliberately putting civil dress, a civil trouser, and cotton shoes, and he was just carrying 20 rupees in his pocket. So when he crossed over, he was caught by the CRPF, because 71, the war had not started, so generally it was manned by BSF and CRPF. So he actually went into the CRPF police station. So they caught him, and they thought that he to spy hoga, Pakistani hai. So he was roughed out. But later on, when the interrogation started, the chief of Samba, the CRPF chief of Samba intelligence, he interrogated, and he said he thought that this man has got something much more. But Suresh, the BSF people will mind it, so but still, because that's what he narrated in the interview. Therefore, let me say this. He was saying that I never wanted to reveal why I crossed over and what I am carrying to CRPF or BSF, because BSF on your side and Rangers on Pakistan side have a tie-up, and they will exchange me for their personal reasons.
In fact, just to stop you there, in terms of Samba, I recollect we did a story on a thing called Stories That Matter on Nationalist Hub.
Okay.
And where we talk about different stories of yesteryears. And one of the things which we dealt with a couple of editions ago was the Samba Spice case.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we will not get into it, but those who want to watch it can watch it on NH Prime, which is a OTT platform of NH Nationalist Hub. And this is what it's. Carry on.
Yeah. So I mentioned about why he was. So ultimately, when he saw that, yes, army intelligence officers have now come to interrogate me. MI. So that is the time he opened up. He opened his cotton shoes and he had made a pocket in the cotton shoes. He had cut the sole, and he had lot of chits over there, giving the complete ground deployment of their guns, their command posts, the ammunition dumps, the petrol dumps, pinpointed locations, because he was a gunner. He was a artillery officer, so he was knowing those. And something which he could not write, he had memorized it. So when the Army Intelligence Corps, they found substance in him, but you can't just accept it on the face value. So to verify, that time we already had started tie-ups with the East Pakistan, the Mukti Bahini, the force which they had created. So there was a chief of that Mukti Bahini who was a kind of a interface between now Bangladesh, that time East Pakistan, and India. His name was Colonel Usman. So they contacted Colonel Usman and he said there is one officer who claims to be selected in East Pakistan but now posted. His details are this. So they went back to his selection. They took out his dossier, what we call, and they said, yes, he is our officer. He is a very good in his memory, and whatever he is saying must be true. And we vouch that he is our officer. Please treat him with all the respect. Which
also, it's classified information, because I'm hearing it for the first time. I usually read a lot.
Okay.
But I seem to have missed this particular one, which is very interesting, because here was the Pakistani army officer crossing over to India, carrying with a lot of information at a period, during a time when that information was badly needed.
Yes.
Did that also help turn tables?
100%. It did help. That's why maybe we are focusing on Vijay Diwas, but sometimes Suresh will sit with you. That why I also give credit to Mrs. Indira Gandhi for playing the political cards, national and international, so well that the complete war turned in our favor. So going forward regarding Colonel Qazi, after the confirmation came from Colonel Usman, so we trained him in 105 mm artillery gun, and he was given some Mukti Bahini force, and 2 batteries were created who will penetrate, because he is from Bangladesh, so he was knowing all the ways from India to Bangladesh and how to go very comfortably without getting detected. So he was given all the responsibilities. And in artillery, there is one post called as Operation Post, OP they called, who gives an advance, who goes on a higher ground and gives an advance information that where artillery shell should land. So he gives the coordinates, what we call it, the grid references, approximate grid references, that from here their guns are located, or here their command post is there. So you set your gun so that the shells fire there. So he was even given that role. And Qazi and the Mukti Bahini took part in several very, very key operations which were carried out in Bangladesh. And we can also grant him the credit for the victory of several such kind of events which took place in eastern side. At the same time, as you rightly said, the information from the Sialkot and Chakargarh Bulge, which he had revealed to us, also were very decisive or very, very crucial in winning the war here. Just now I narrated regarding the Arun Khetrapal, same Chakargarh sector.
Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting, because for those of our viewers who are watching, Mukti Bahini was a civilian force that was created to counter the Pakistani army. So they were basically like a small guerrilla force, of course not uniformed, but otherwise, who were actually off the record trained by the Indian army to fight the Pakistani army in East Pakistan. And they played a major, major role, and with people like you, whom you mentioned in this particular episode, sir, General Nazi and others, that they really actually helped turn the tables of the war.
yes.
But Colonel Gokte, it's not always humans who are actually the brave, the smart, and of course ones who created a difference. Sometimes even we recently heard of a canine which got killed in action in Kashmir.
Yeah.
And it was given as
Yeah.
funeral, which is
Yes,
needed
befitting.
for a martyr.
Yes.
But did 71 war also see such instances?
Yes, certainly. The canine which are referring panther,
Panther.
Labrador, who sacrifices his life. So before I recollect one example regarding the animals, when Colonel Qazi, he was asked the question that you are coming to our side, but if the Pakistanis identify this, what will happen to your family in Bangladesh? So he said he was very emotional that time, and he says, I only have one hope, that my dad was a Second World War veteran, and he will face this challenge very well. So his dad had taken his family to a very remote interior village, but that village people, they said that somehow the Pakistanis have come to know and they are going to come to your house. So that day night, they ensured that his mother and his sister crosses over to India. They put her in a boat, and that boat brought her to India. And she was in the refugee camp, but unfortunately she died because of her ill health. Coming back to your question, in 71 war, the men, women of Indian armed forces and the volunteer force of Bangladesh definitely participated. But even the animals have played a role in our victory.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I recollect now, there is one mule. I hope the viewers know that a mule is a crossbreed between a donkey and a horse.
Okay, crossbreed between a donkey and a horse.
And a
is called
horse,
mule. Okay,
and
right.
that's a mule. And you may say, what a donkey. Donkey is considered very low.
Inferior.
Yeah, very inferior. And he donkey and she horse. There's a crossbreed like this,
Okay.
not the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah. And interestingly, there in the mule also there is a he mule and a she mule, but the she mule cannot produce. It's a very typical.
Right.
Yeah. So they say that.
They're usually used by the army to carry weights.
Yes, yes,
A lot of
extensively.
luggage up there.
Extensively, yeah. Till date, we have about 1,000 dogs in the Indian RVC, what we call Remount and Veterinary Corps. Then we have 1,500 horses and 4,000 mules.
4,000.
4,000
Even
mules,
now.
even now, as on date. So I'm talking about this mule. There was one mule, like Army Jawan, like even I have my Army number, IC 42720. So also the animals are given their number. So this, they call it hoof. Hoof is the one which is on their back. So that, because you can't put a number on the body. So on the hoof, the number is 15,324. So I'm talking about the hoof number 15,324.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
put on the hoof actually.
Yes, so it's on the hoof. What had happened in 71 war, this mule was caught by Pakistanis, and they took him to the Pakistan post, and they started using him as a carrier of heavy luggage. But who says that animals don't have emotions? Animals also have that national pride and emotion. He slipped out of the prison of Pakistan, and when he slipped, he was carrying one heavy machine gun on his back, Pakistan Army heavy machine gun, with 2 boxes of ammunition, means total load was approximately 50 kgs. And he escaped from the Pakistani prison, and he navigated, it's a miracle, he navigated 25 kilometers at the height of 17,000 feet.
An animal, a
An
mule
animal.
that
Yes,
seemed to have a homing instinct to reach where it should.
where it should. Right.
Did this mule have a name?
Yes, yes, the mule has been given a name. So when it was a miracle that they identified that this is hoof 15,328, and then the war started and all that happened. So this mule continued in the Indian Army till 1992. So in 1992,
That's almost 21
yes,
years.
21 years. Yeah. So in 1992, he was taken to New Delhi, and in a special ceremony, he was honored by giving a special name to this hoof number 15,328 as Pedongi. Pedongi.
Okay.
And what is this Pedongi? Pedongi is a kind of a battlefield in Sikkim. Lot many horses have been given this honor of not a number, identified not by number but by a special name. And he was the first, or he is the first mule in the Indian Army who has been given this honor. And also a decoration of mentioned in dispatch.
So the mention in dispatches is usually given by the Indian Army chief, if I'm not mistaken, sir?
Yes, but this time it was not given by, he was given by, I think, some Major General.
But still it is.
Yes, but it has got the same status.
So interesting, because one often associates animals with something else,
Yes.
saying that they are of low IQ, they don't do much of it. But I guess you did mention a lot during the talk we had the other day about
Yeah.
saying that how animals were used even in Second World War
Yes.
and extensively.
Yes, yes.
Are there anything that you wish to speak
Yes,
about?
I can narrate one. There is one pigeon, special name was given as Gustav. Gustav. So what a Normandy operation, quite famous.
Landing.
Nearly 5,000 naval ships and equal number of planes had landed at Normandy. Near Normandy there were 5 beaches, so they had landed there. And that time Hitler's intelligence was very strong, so they had put jammers. So radio communication was impossible. To get the reinforcement from England, it was very crucial to pass a message that the landing was successful. So on this pigeon, a chit was planted, and this pigeon was released close to Normandy in France. And it flew where, it crossed the English Channel, and it went flying 241 kilometers, reached England in his pigeonhole in 5 hours.
Wow.
And when that message was seen, whatever the replenishment and other action which followed, that was a crucial. So I don't remember, he was also awarded the highest gallantry award in England.
Interesting, because
Yeah.
Today we're talking of technology in war.
True.
We are seeing how the Ukraine-Russian war is fading out.
Yes.
We're seeing how the Israelis are taking on the Palestinian, and how Iran is bombing, Israel with missiles once in a while. But Colonel, when you look at the entire gamut of such brave acts, we started with Sam Manekshaw.
Yeah.
Then we had Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal.
Yes.
We had General Nazi, and then now we have this mule. But all of them, represent different facets of the war, different facets of army life.
True.
But do you think in many cases there are many unsung heroes who don't get the dues, unless people like you speak about them?
That's very true. But what is a part of it, Suresh, in life, so many times, even in civil life also, it happens that the credit doesn't go to a right person. Very unfortunate, but the respect every army soldier gets, I think we are quite satisfied with that, though our bravery may not come to light or may not be published in the open. But yes, that much also getting respect is what we look for.
No, that's what. As we come to the close of the conversation, Colonel, one thing that strikes me is that once a soldier, always a soldier. Okay, be it the way you dress up, be it the way you maintain discipline, the timing, and everything. Do you think at the same time, as we saw Sam Manekshaw, a very disciplined gentleman, of course, those of us not seen him directly, but
Yes.
through his movies and other things that or the speeches that he has given, the way he presents himself.
Yes.
Do you think there is a need for young Indians to be also trained? I'm not saying in the art of warfare, but to be trained like the Israelis do. You have reservists, so that they have inculcate a certain sense of discipline in them.
Yeah, most certainly. I think the policies of the defense ministry to raise lot of NCC units is a effort in the same direction. And whenever I go for my morning walk, I see a lot of cadets on the going towards the NCC camps and NCC battalions. So that is, I think, a good gesture that promotes youngsters to join the armed forces.
Operation Vijay and Vijay Diwas,
Yes.
two different things, isn't it?
Yes.
Many people get confused between
Yes.
these two. One is Kargil and one is Bangladesh. Maybe the Bangladesh part is forgotten till. Kargil still holds a bit of memory for a lot of us because we've seen war up close and personal. Of course, I remember when I was staying in Kachiguda, we used to tape our windows. We were told to tape
Yes,
our
yes.
windows with black paper
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
newspaper so
Yes.
that the Pakistani
Blackout and all.
blackouts happen and they don't trace the
Yeah.
accommodation or the houses below. But when you look at the celebrating these moments, the Indian Army does a wonderful job. There's no doubt about it. But I remember one instance where reading about Sam Manekshaw, and somebody asked, why didn't Sam Manekshaw go and take the surrender in Dhaka? Why did he still insist on the Indian Army general there at that time to take the surrender? Was it a rank-to-rank issue?
No, so that time actually Indira Gandhi wanted that Sam should go. But he said if if Pakistan had he surrendered, I would have gone. One Lieutenant General is surrendering. So
I think Lieutenant General Arora took the surrender from Niazi.
Yeah, Eastern Army Commander then. So he asked him to go. But one thing which I would definitely connected with the men, women of armed forces and the say the volunteers of Bangladesh and the animals also participated. I personally feel that so much of crime has been happening, had happened in 71 war. Sometimes I really wonder that if so much of crime takes place, how the heaven has not fallen on us, on the human being. Then the only answer which justifies that why heaven has not fallen, I think the animals have compensated by showing some kind of humanity in them, which has prevented the God from bringing down this disaster. I have been in the army, and as you know, we generally are posted in very remote areas. So I have stayed very close to nature. So Suresh, if you allow me.
Yes, sure, sir. Please go.
I generally write a poem.
Yeah, I know that. You did. So.
So I would like to respect this contribution of human as well as animal, and how you can approach the God. So if I can render in
Please.
Hindi, if you permit me.
Please go ahead, sir.
मंदिर में मूर्ति रूप में क्या आप भगवान को बिठाओगे? मंदिर में मूर्ति रूप में क्या आप भगवान को बिठाओगे? ब्रह्मांड के निर्माते को मूर्ति में कैद करोगे?
Okay.
भगवान की मूर्ति धातु की या पत्थर की आप तय करोगे? भगवान की मूर्ति धातु की या मूर्ति पत्थर की आप तय करोगे? उसकी विशालता मापकर और तोलकर आप निर्धारित करोगे? ईश्वर एक कल्पना, ईश्वर एक विश्वास। ईश्वर एक कल्पना, ईश्वर एक विश्वास, ईश्वर एक आस्था, कठिन समय में दिखता वो रास्ता।
अरे वाह।
धरती ईश्वर का गर्भगृह, धरती ईश्वर का गर्भगृह, आकाश उसका शिखर, बहते झरने उसका तीर्थ, पर्वत घाटियाँ, उसका परिसर। जाओ निसर्ग के गोदी में, जाओ निसर्ग के गोदी में, ईश्वर दर्शन जरूर होगा। आपका विश्वास होने तक वो नए रूप में प्रकट होगा। आपका विश्वास होने तक वो नए रूप में प्रकट होगा।
Wow. Beautiful.
With that,
Beautiful.
I would.
In fact, we would run it on the screen as you were speaking, because
Okay.
when the editing is done, we will do that.
Sure.
Colonel Umesh Gokte, it's wonderful speaking to you, as always. And I'm sure as we approach Vijay Diwas, we will have more such conversations, so that today's generation is aware about what really happened in various theaters of war.
Yes.
Be it 65, or even before that in 48, and then 65, 62, and of course 71, and then the undeclared wars of Kargil
99,
and other places. We will definitely go through all this.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you very much
Very
for
well.
coming down to our
Thank you.
studios of NHX and Nationalist Hub and speaking to us.
It's my pleasure. And Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Yes.